That's it. We are live. Today is the 9th of November, Friday the 9th of November 2018. On the panel is R. Patricia and Martin Liedtke. Yay!
Yogi, yogi, yogi.
Oi, 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 oi.
Evening, Karen. Evening, all. Awesome night.
Yeah, Patricia, are you there? Patricia? She's
Yours too.
there. She is.
Yeah, sorry. I was just muting the watch page thing because I didn't want that to turn up. So, yeah. Hi, everyone. Hi, Martin.
Hi, Patricia, love.
Hey, 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 hey. Thank you for that. Anyway, we were sorry, guys. We couldn't get on because me and Martin were talking for the hangout. Although I didn't realise he's already been live till I saw him live. It didn't actually come up for me. I'm going to make sure that I've got the little bell done.
You're notified. I've had like dozens of emails. No one's. I don't know whether this new Premiere feature doesn't notify people through the bell notification or what. But like when I do a Premiere, people are still turning up. But I mean, loads tell me they're not notified. But it's me, so I expect.
What a better way of being notified.
Extend the flow.
Yeah, of course, Martin is still doing all his research for the fact we've been in some kind of mud flood and we are the result of that. And I was just telling him that I'd watched this video myself, I'd caught this video myself where this guy was trying to find this information about a building in New York. And basically he's getting frustrated because he couldn't. But when he realised, then one day it was a bit like there was some information. This building had basically always been there. And there was sort of like 200 or 300 feet below ground, and there is a tube down there with there's loads of tunnels, there's loads of track. It was all there. It's all been there.
Yeah, definitely previous sets. Yeah, I had mind blower sent to me yesterday. I was floored by it, but I couldn't take it on because I'm already snowed under. So I passed it to Mick. So I don't want to talk too much about it. But Mick, who's Rebel Without a Pause, awesome YouTuber, from Grand Rapids in the basically 100 miles from St. Louis. So it's in the New Madrid area, which is the epicenter of the 1811 through to 1812 events. Anyone who knows about this subject will know what happened that year. Okay, we predict that was definitely a reset year of some sort. Okay, now. He sent me images of the town where he grew up, Grand Rapids. Beautiful, beautiful old world architecture, most monumental masonry. And it was an article, and it talked about basically the people living in their houses 50 years being forced out to demolish these houses. Now, this is repeated all over New York, as you just mentioned, Hell's Kitchen, where people are forced out of the communities to no other reason. It's more than land grab and redevelopment. It's to get rid of this specific style of architecture. Now, back to Grand Rapids. Now, I looked at one building in particular, which was called the Kent Courthouse, which is a monumental building, old world building, mud flooder. And it states that it was built in 1893. Oh, well, great. I should be able to definitely, at that recent date, get a photograph of it being built, eh? So I don't only dig on Google. I dig deep to try and find in libraries as well whether a photograph exists. Okay, it doesn't. Okay, well there is a plan, one plan. Okay, architects' blueprints can be faked. So I find then a beautiful panoramic for the very same year of 1893, and you can zoom right in on the whole city, Grand Rapids. Nothing is being built. Everything is in situ, and this is repeated. You name a city. You could be in New Zealand, Australia, South America, South Africa, all over the year, all the Americas. You could be. It's just another world that is recent, very, very recent. That architecture is recent, and it's been wiped out. And basically, later survivor times, definitely how this place works. And more. So much more. That's just the tip of the iceberg, Karen. It's all coming up now. We're decoding so much.
Every time I watch something of yours, Martin, I feel like wow, wow. Even though I obviously talk to you and you come on our Hangouts, I'm just wowed.
Well, it's been a change in paradigm just lately. I thought it was about time, like, because I don't seem to have work in mind. That be aching away inside anyway, and the whole reason, or what I wanted to achieve, was being flat earther, was, you know, proving the earth is flat. But rather than just pick bolts, like waiting for them to do their stupidity, I mean NASA and space agencies, and the garbage that comes off physicists' mouths, which is just playing games, is the dialect. So blank all that and then look for answers. So that's what we've all done. We've all mucked in together. Everyone has contributed best of their information, and we just get the best thinkers in, and we evaluate what is we think, and then suddenly you get like really strange synchronicities. No, I won't lie to you, I've been feeling strange for a while. Knowing the things I know, I feel really freaking strange. Things look a lot different. More ways than you can imagine. I can't even put it into words. So this unveiling, or this is true, okay? If you follow what I've tried to explain from the beginning of this series, The Great Story Never Told, is the way this place works is as above, so below. The microcosm and the macrocosm. All things small fit into things smaller and smaller and smaller, and vice versa, outwards, bigger, bigger, and bigger. It's just the nesting doll's secret of how this place works, right? Well, if you get on to the atom, well, I started with the first cell, and I went through to the stable 8, which is the first stable cell where humans can actually be. Okay, now this is intercoded in our entire paradigm, or the 8Q, okay, or the flower of life happens to be.
Martin, the chat room is saying you're not that loud, and I can't turn you.
Yeah, I can turn me up.
Okay, then.
I can't turn me. Oh, no, I can't. I'm in a moderate call. You'd be okay.
Hopefully that's a bit better. I've turned you up a bit anyway.
Oh, okay.
Can I just say before you get going then, I sort of like, my journey like with you is that I was watching videos and I remember you went to look at that map, the round map.
Monday, still playing around all this time later.
Then,
it's nice, it's crazy. I'm still in this.
And then I met you. At the you know, the space center. Then I met you again.
Or was it Leamington?
And then you came on a hangout and you'd been given these books from Russia. And that was really, you just got these books and you started talking a little bit about hangouts last year. And this whole thing is a year, isn't it? And so much information.
Yeah, nothing's gone the way I thought it would. You know, it's like this whole journey has been completely unexpected. All of the things that have been discovered have been like a massive surprise to myself, and it's been an absolute pleasure to talk about them to the people. It really has. That's been my greatest joy, is knowing.
I was even amazed when you were looking at pictures now. You see that saying magnetism, that's saying that. Like,
we know what it means. We decoded the angel's wings was essential, and it proved that when we're looking at the 4 angels on that map behind me on the wall, which is square and stationary Earth map. We all know that map, don't we, guys? It's got 4 angels on the corners. Well, the angels, angles on the corners, the angels, they're not angels, they're magnets. And the wings are magnetic fields, and they are on all maps, all depictions. I'm telling you guys, on all logos, sports motives, corporates, everything all ties back to the model, to the place where we live in. I've given 1,000 pictures to prove this point, and I will carry on doing it if it's needed. Tell you where this place is and what we're living in. No doubt about it, okay? It's a flat and static plane, no doubt about it. And sun, and there's more, much more. But yeah, the angels, the magnets, okay? Back to that, what I was saying about the stable 8. So it's about the cube, you get the cube in the center of the Kaaba, which is in the center of Mecca. So the Muslims know about it, the Christians know about it, all faiths, Buddhists know about the stable 8. Cube, okay, but it can be interpreted as a Star of David, and eventually brought out into a perfect representation of the double torus field. okay, and we had an initial flat plane between it. If you know what an atom looks like, it's two sort of upside down pyramids, one facing up and one facing down with the plane in the middle. Well, that is the model, what we think is happening with Earth. We think that the North Pole, here we go, guys, if you haven't heard this already, think that Mount Mary indeed to be a magnetic anomaly, but we think it is a pyramid, a possibly big pyramid, and it is a two-sided pyramid. Bottom half, so it's a pyramid with a pyramid below. The pyramid below is underground, okay? That is the South Pole, because what the whole thing is a magnet. Top bit, the North Pole. That's what your compass is pointing to. And underground is the South Pole. And I've showed you the model where it all loops in, double torus field. It's the only way this can work. It explains gravity brilliantly. There's no such thing as we know their explanation. They can't really put every single thing down with density, buoyancy, there's things called Faraday cages, etc. So you can't do that. So it's magnetic acceleration. The force that's coming up through the North Pole hole and force coming down happen simultaneously. You cancel out in the middle. It's the only way. It works exactly the same with the atom. Okay, cancels out, giving equilibrium. We're living on that equilibrium. That's the flat static plane. Okay, this is why a mountain. Okay, this is why a mountain is still, because it's on the flat static plane that is an inertial plane. It's inert. Now, bear with me. Let me have a bag. Now, you know the saying, the Masons say, order out of chaos. Order out chaos or chow. Order out chow. It's the Masonic saying for order out of chaos. Now, what they think, the narrative is with that is it means out of order comes chaos. So that's the dialectic. That is, they create chaos and they bring in order with a new world order by bringing an event, say. Okay, that's the narrative. But it's not. It's not. What it means is when things are not in order and they're in chaos, okay, it means when you've got a magnet, okay, if the atoms are not aligned and they're jumbled, things are just not magnetic. Okay, it's inert. Static plane we're living on, magnet. Okay, but if the atoms are all lined up, okay, it becomes a magnet, it becomes in order. It becomes in order. Okay, now that may sound innocuous. Well, what does that mean? Well, the next bit of the unfolding was the unfolding of what was thought to be the ancient symbol, fasces. Fasces is a Roman or Etruscan symbol, but it's not. We've now decoded that this thing was an energy weapon, and we know how it works. Actually, a fasces is a laser or even a taser. In fact, it's a microwave oven in your kitchen. We know how this thing works, okay? We decoded it. In fact, I found, somebody sent me a link today, a picture of the rod from God, when that was out with Ronald Reagan, and it was a picture from make-believe space. But what they're showing, very large fasces, which is a bundle of rods put together, which are actually magnets. So they will not magnetize one by next to one another like that, north to north, south to south. Doesn't work. So you bind them with a bond. That magnetizes, okay, during the EM fields, the magnetic fields, okay. So when we decoded the fasces as an energy weapon, we realized the possibility of its implications, as in it turns things to dust with a thing called wave cancellation. Now, you can double wavelengths by speakers, having a better box, it doubles the wave frequency. You can cancel them by sending the wavelength out half an amplitude later, cancels it out, right? So we've learned this with the fasces, turns things to dust. It de-aggregates matter. In what sort of scale, I can't even imagine, okay? So that was the fasces, and they're using that in ancient antiquity. So we think that helps a lot towards liquefaction of the ground, possibly causes mud flows, volcanicity, earthquakes, and all your events.
Okay. Is this everywhere then, Martin?
Yeah. It's just, it's encoded in both sides. you'll get this in everywhere in our reality. The fasces is in the House of Congress, either side. You have two fasces with the laurel leaf, and the laurel is the magnetic field, and they have two opposing laurel leaves, two opposing magnetic fields, and fasces to tell you these things are active, they're that creepy. Not only that, it's everywhere. I could pull up 1,000 different versions of how this thing's playing out. Crack the fasces, totally leads you on to the next, okay? With my expose of what I'm saying about with the flat earth and how this place works, I truly believe that is how it's working. Not only that, when you learn it from the start through to the end, you know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, from the coding, they know as well. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. It's just nuts. I had a guy contact me this morning, his father, right, who's in M14, right? He was in propaganda ministry in World War II in Cairo. So I was like, wow, real spy stuff. Tell me more. This guy was an artist, right? A London artist, and he was hired by the military for his talents. But then he got a job in 1951 in the British, what was it? The British Expedition, something like that. And he was on the side of the Thames. It was a big fair on the side of the Thames with a big dome, okay? Now, he was the art director for this thing, right? So he encodes everything with the shape of this place. The logo is exactly what I've projected. You know, you need, I'm saying it's a 10 vortices system, and it shows you, because you need, with a Magnus, you've got a north and a south, right? So you've always got, that's the two vortices, right? So each angel, you've got 4 angels, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8. And Mount Meru, the one in the middle, that's another big magnet, north and south. So there's your 10. So it's a 10 vortices or 10 vortex system. Okay, that's what we believe. I've got the projections, and I've put them on my channel. How, you know, I've actually shown a graphic how that works.
It's really crazy, isn't it? They knew and were able to show and
not only sick,
all this.
How they dangled in our face, even popular culture, Karen, with the Beatles and all their logos and the album covers and everything. You know, even the Big Bang, right? BB, turn them around to 2 opposing vortexes. We've established 33, for its real meaning, 33, turn them around, double vortexes, 2 double vortexes. It's the same. Again, it's just crazy how much this place is encoded. But when you know, you think, oh, you dirty rotters. It's that clear. You get me? It's just, and then the one, you'll see the other, and eventually it's just all of it. Just the whole thing seems to be one big sigil, one big illusion of their coding. And you unravel one and it leads you on to the next, and it's real. It's very, very, very edgy as well when you delve in. Do you know what? Do you know not last night, the last vlog, Karen? I finished my vlog. I did 2.5 hours, right? I had a good crowd in. It was a really good night. So I go to bed, and I'm still thinking about the night. You know, it's like, that's what you do after a live event, all running through your mind. And like 3 o'clock in the morning, out of the blue, right? I'm really, really ill. Right? I mean, I thought I was going to die. I was crawling on all floors, like all floors across the room, out of the blue. And Karen, I haven't been ill in decades. I don't even know what that word means. I didn't get a runny nose. So this was nuts and new to me. And I mean, I was in real bad pain, stomach cramps, the whole chimoli, out of the blue. It worn off most. So bad. Don't know, Karen. Can't even put into words how it became like that, click of a finger. First of all, I thought, oh, I feel it really strange. My body started to vibrate. And I got like this really nauseous feeling, and then cramps kicked in, my stomach, and then I was done. But I looked in the mirror, I thought, oh my God, I'm a dead man. I thought I was going to go. I really did, Karen. It's that bad. Gone by morning, but it was a roller coaster ride the whole night. The whole night it was like I was just that ill. Out of the blue like that. It was really weird, man. Just nothing building up to it. And then just gone, same. And I just did because of what I said, like the last vlog before last, I definitely blew the socks off a lot of things. You know, it decoded the X code, you know what the X now reality means. It's just another emblem for a place where we live. And it is. I can show you 1,000 depictions which we made it is. And it just took it out of me. It just made me weak. The knowledge makes you weak. Can't wait to get it out. Once you talk about it, you feel like, oh, God, so that awful. Personal
Well, I'm glad that you're all right then.
It's a joy to do because I want to tell truth, like, but same token. Really
Yeah, and I'm glad that you're all right, Martin.
I'm all right. It just went like, but I'm just saying, I never had anything like that. Just don't even know what it was. I couldn't even say. Just knocked me out.
And I'm glad
out
you mentioned a bit about hangouts as well. When you've actually been on a hangout, you need to wind down, don't you?
Yeah, it's just like you've been out for the night or something, like, especially when you've got a big crowd in, you're watching, or, you know, when you're talking and all that. It's just a big buzz. It's like, you know, if you was like, say, a comic, and you went into like a workman's club and you entertained, you know, 200 people, that's a big crowd, isn't it? Think about it. So, and they come out buzzing and like knackered. So it's a bit like that. It is. You might, but no, I was ill. You know, he scared me. I was like, oh, I'm gonna die.
Anyway, I bet you don't sometimes know what to do when you suddenly, you know, like all this information comes in. You know, like another, like, you know, that, you know, one of our last hangouts, I did a trailer about, you know, you basically in the 1700s they were drawing the nervous system of a human and had mapped it all out. And it's like, what?
Yeah, it's incredible. I know I've got more on that as well. I would love to bring out more booklets showing you more in-depth detail. I had a doctor contact me. My email's about that video. Yeah, and a butcher. A doctor and a butcher. The butcher said nerve endings cannot be seen, and the doctor told me to say, oh, how? CT scans of some sort. Some examining, some technology, but we know it is now anyway. But established that they had very good technology. The subject of technology is like super futuristic, yet it's set in the past. You understand that? It's really weird. That advanced, but like I said, it dips down into the fundamentals of this reality, and they know how it works. So, you know, it doesn't take too much of a switch up there, because it is to do with spirit as well. It doesn't take too much of a switch of their consciousness to tap in, and that's what they do. People are all down, you see, they got a down vibrational experience because of that's the social conditioning. They recognize that and they don't let it get to them like me. I don't really care. Too cocky. Don't let that's them. If it's a lower vibration experience or you're getting down on negative thoughts, that's definitely 100%. And then that is it could be external causation for you, you know, so just cancel it. And real joy stuff, honestly.
Can I ask you something then? With all this research you've done, right? What's the thing that's blown your mind the most when you've been looking at this before you tell everybody? Don't forget, we hear it from you. So what's the thing that's blown your mind the most?
Wow, that's a biggie. I would say probably there's so many, but like one sticks out in my mind is the missing people and these orphans. That just sticks in my mind like a razor. Something there. You know, the fact that these cities, all the photography of a certain era show all the cities were white and empty. People, there's just what looks like skeleton crews of workmen, you know, getting these, you know, like, you know, Wonder Worlds, all these, you know, these theme packs ready for populace, but there's just this overlying thing about the workhouses that we looked into that's really creepy, man. It's just this, all the workhouses, all the prisons, originally the Victorian prisons were prisons. They were workhouses and they were full of children, right? There's no real old people. Around the 1880s in the photographs, take a look, 70 max. And then people would have been like survivors or survivors' children of the events of 1812. The 1800s is a complete farce. I can't imagine what happened, but I know the further back you go, personally, I guess, 1700s are just insane. Then people, famous, don't even think like this. The fundamentals of physics are just incredible. It's alchemy.
So this bit with the empty cities and towns, what roughly year was that then, Martin?
Well, that's the thing, see, Karen, it's difficult to determine with photographs. I've been saying all along that there is a thing up there that there's The Age of Photography is False. There's a cover up by Kodak, Lyndon Eastman's father, Paul McCartney's wife, Linda McCartney. Her father is Kodak. He owns the company. It's him. And he's supposed to have covered that The Age of Photography, as the story goes. I can't like verify that, but some photographs don't really fit with the time frame, and it's really bugging me. And also some of the text, there's a crossover. It's like, you know, you get Romans with middle-aged people constantly, like they're both living side by side. It's really weird. But photographs are supposed to be, The Age of Photography is supposed to kick off, Karen, 1840s. Okay, you got these French street photographs. You got this guy, British Freemason, Robert Cornelius, that takes the first human selfie on Google. That's what they tell you. He's got his hand in here like Nelson doing the Masonic hand in hand, and he takes the first photo. So that sort of tells you it's a lie. Okay, but he's dressed in Napoleonic dressing, got a Napoleonic shirt on. But you know, okay, 1813 maybe. So we actually looking at that time, and we looking further back. You know, I've seen photographs of Moscow, right? Moscow, and it's like palaces, and they're photographs, but they have palm trees outside. You're looking at like a warm, arid climate. So how is that possible if it's Moscow? In our lifetime, has Moscow ever been warm? No, it hasn't, has it? So what are we looking at? And why are we looking at Moscow with like all these tropical plants? Is it from another time? Are we looking for photographs kept over? How do we know? I don't even know, Karen, anymore. What's always been handed to us, and with the internet, I've had a lot of photographs that have been hampered and added to. When I exposed atmospheric electricity in antiquity, Antiquitech, when that came out, I started like scouring sites and trying to get as much information. And suddenly, all of a sudden, everyone started sending images, overwhelmingly with Antiquitech. You know, the aerials of the buildings, the pyramids, the orbs, all of it, the Antiquitech, the atmospheric gathering, etc. And then we had a look at some of them through Photoshop. Some of them had like added, so they were like trying to either discredit me. So everyone's like, "Oh, wow, look at all of these. That's just nuts." No, and also added poles, communication poles, because there's this thing that there's these poles all over Europe and Russia between 1895 and 1900. They're all taken down, and they're these funny-looking masts with U-bends on them. We believe that what they are. For atmospheric gathering, but they got rid of them, you know, with Edison and the rest, and Morgan, and the Yang, the electricity and everything else was all arrived around this period, you know, late 1800s, 1900s, when been there all along.
Yeah, you were talking about the lamp, the lights had things on them, didn't they? And they were doing different things. They had different thoughts coming to them.
Well, as I said before, you need to watch this video on resonators on my friend Father's British Subs channel. It's absolutely incredible. It gives you an idea, and it's quite, once you know it fits, you know it's quite simple. It fits right in with what I've been saying about the shape of this place and how it works. It's magical. And it's down to perfect symmetry. It's down to the purity of the metals. These alchemists will show you like recipes of how to make this stuff to have a certain response from the ether. It's like you could akin it to magic, but it's not. It's tech. It's tech. It's technism. It's like species tech. I can't even tell you what fancy stuff is, Karen. We're just unraveling it. I got a catalogue, but unfortunately, I need to like translate everyone as I'm going. So I'm only like a small way in. But what it's showed us, absolutely insane, nuts. It's just how backward they got us now is a screaming shame. Honest to God. They give us this sad illusion of us going forward. We're going forward. We're not. We're going backwards and backwards. We're losing everything that we once had. Nobody can do anything for themselves anymore. Everything's done for them. God help if them services should ever stop. People would be stumbling on like blind people. It's just
and everything's plastic nowadays.
Plastic civilization, Karen. This is exactly what we got. It's a plastic, fake reality. Everyone's living in a dream. They will argue to the blue in the face because it was on the television, Karen. So it can't be true. You stupid. It's on the telly. Do you see? It's just nuts, Karen. It's just doesn't.
It's really bad though, isn't it? Because unfortunately we've been trained that way, but you know, a lot of us don't put the television on anymore or know what it means. And so that's the frustrating bit, isn't it? When you hear them say that.
I look at my Google News every once in a while to never watch the news, and it gives me a giggle. It just makes me laugh. They always seem to be directed at me. Well, so there'll be some bullshit about some comet in space or something like that, you know. But I got some stuff about comets which I can bring up soon, which is crazy too. I think they're definitely a role in it. For some reason, every single reset date, calendar shift is either major or a great comet. I'm over that. And these things.
You got that bit that because obviously Sun and Moon did it as a group, that there'd been lots of electrical arkings here over this plane we live on, positive, negative, positive, negative. Some of them were smaller, some of them were bigger, but the really big ones happened a while ago, and the smaller ones could still be happening. But if you were caught in any of that, you'd have been vaporized.
How about this then? How about this? Now, I mentioned we were on. I'm just flying this, okay? I'm not saying this is a real thing. I said we were on an inertial flat plane between two toruses. Now, that means that there's another side, another underside to our inertial flat plane. And that has got as well a seal or a magnetic dome, which is what they call a Van Allen belt, which you can't pass through, you know, okay, in this double torus field. So they could be another not exact, but it could be another plane down there. And they would be not, you know, they're not going to be upside down. They're not going to be aware of this side or that side. Now, considering it's a magnet, what I said about with the North Pole, okay, what I believe is the top bit sticking out of the ground being the North Pole, Mount Meru, and the bottom bit of the pyramid is underground, is the South Pole, okay. Now, if they flipped, now that happens, okay, and it's in stone record, so it's happened in the past, but we're not on a globe. I'll explain to you how this place works, okay. Now, the theory of the sky falling in. Now, if this place, now maybe you're not relative, maybe you don't feel it, maybe if it did go, it would just be some sort of disaster. But what I'm trying to say is it fits in with the electrical universe hypothesis of electrical arcing disaster, because the luminaries, the sky, as they say, would fall in and become very close indeed, and being electromagnetic by nature, this universe, they would have huge plasma discharge events, as been talked about by every civilization over and over again. Could that be what they know? Could that be what they know? Because we know what this is. I told you, I know what it is. Now, what's the next step? Are they actually as safe as we think they are? Because they seem to be giving, if it's a card game, right? If it's a card game, this, right? They're showing their hand. They're cat out of the bag on lots of things. Shape the earth. Come on. Fake history. Nothing's real. Everything's a lie. And you know it. What's real? It's an illusion. It's crazy, crazy times. I can't keep up. I don't even know what blows my mind the most. That's what it's like at the moment. We're all the same, all these guys. Good into it. It's crazy times.
How long does it take you to research this stuff, Martin?
All my time. No, I haven't got much time. I got nothing but time on my hands now, Karen, because as you know, my family's passed away. That was where my time went. I've always been caring. Like after I finished my last job, which was basically horticulture, crappy B&Q. I was there years. I got a bit established in it, but I left that to care for my mother. I give her extra years, but she passed away this year, as you know. My wife passed away this year, and I'm like a caring type, so I give up all my time to look after people. So now I've only got my son, so I look out for him, and then I got all fabulous British guys. I feel responsible for them, so I look out for them. My extended family now, they are my family now. Yeah, so I feel responsible for my family, so I want them guided right and want them like knowing the truth and not being spread the yarn, because people are making stuff up, Karen, and running with it. It drives me nuts. We need to think clearly if people are going to take us seriously. People looking. Now, do you know what? I've just spent 5 videos, like 20, maybe 25,000 people have watched them, right? With me dismantling Bob, right? Do you know how many globe trolls I've had in? None. None.
How many?
None. Do you know why?
Why?
Why? Because it's too thick to get it, Karen. They just don't get it. What I've just done, you just can't even unwind it. I made it from the atom right the way up to the what we live in, and every single aspect of coverage, even the geometry. Okay, all of it, and how it works. Okay, and every aspect available to us from the cleverest mind. Like I've taken work from Dan Winters, and Ken Wheeler, and Roy, the best we can find, just to try and nail it, and they're all showing exactly the same. Crazy. Yeah, I've been blown away.
Yeah, everything's crazy when you wake up, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's hard to do because I can't I got to do my research. I don't know how I do it. It's a miracle to my mind, because I can't keep doing flat earth all day. So living that really rude. So we got to do stuff. So I go droning with it and all that. So I have to allocate hours to this. But as for my ethnic social life, as in hanging out in hangouts all day, talking with everyone, it's gone. But unless I do shows like this. But,
before you came on here, you were having a hangout yourself.
yeah.
Could you talk? You want to talk a little bit about what you were talking about on there?
Wow.
Oh, sorry. You talk about what you want to talk about, Martin.
It is complex stuff, but it's just me. The last one what we did was I summarised all what we've learned. Brought us a complete, beautiful neat package. It's only episode 2. There's more to come, much more. It's going to get absolutely crazy. I can't even tell you. Just when you think about it, boggles my mind too much. But this, what we've had to do, Karen, okay, is we've had to use what's available to us that is true, that they will go with. Okay, so they can't say, oh, no, that don't exist, that don't exist. Well, that's, no, hang on a minute. You're a scientist fan. You've got to stick with this. So we've used some tools of theirs, and we have verified these places, and it's encoded in our reality. So what I did tonight was I showed you this, which is more mind-blowing than anything you can imagine. And it shows actually through a very, very clever code, which is called the Tesla code, or Purief's code, or many of these great minds of this time worked out this code based on the 8-point star. And it's a perpetual motion loop, and it fits exactly onto our clock, our watch, which is, if you look at this, you can see it's perfect. Flat Earth clock. And basically, you certifying drones. You connect the 2s, the 1 and the 2, and the 4 and the 5, and the 8 and 7, and basically that with this mathematical equation actually shows you the magnetic toruses, the 4 angels, Taurus in the middle, our inertial flat plate. The whole Shimoli is in your wristwatch. And not only that, this equation shows that time or clocks can be used counterclockwise. Exactly the same. Really. And all of antiquities have done this. There's a clock in Prague, which I showed you on my channel, and on a synagogue in Prague, and they've left it there. It's one from antiquity, and it runs counterclockwise. And it can run counterclockwise and clockwise because it has 2 opposing toruses. It works on exactly the same principle in every single aspect of what I've tried to explain. There's the watch and the clock. But I knew that all along because I've been obsessed with time. I knew why. And then I just spent the rest of the vlog showing a plethora of images from everything from the Gothic, the Celtic cross, which if you take another look at it, perfect representation with the 4 corners, the 4 angels, just like on the Christian square and stationary earth map. It's a bit glary, but we all know that, don't we? Square and stationary earth. 4 magnets, and the necessity, should have mentioned actually, of 4 magnets on the 4 corners, it drives this system, it drives the seasons, and this is how you imagine the sun and moon luminaries. You don't know what they are, but they are electromagnetic. Okay, and the sun and the moon. Okay, so what happens is they move onto one angel, attracted by its magnetic pull. It passed it onto the next magnetic pull, and onto the next angel. And round, and eventually the attraction of the magnet in the middle, Mount Mary, will pull back towards Mount Meru, giving us the seasons, and then back out again, chasing each angel as it goes. It's absolutely beautiful. But it works. The reason we know it works is because Tesla made an engine called the Tesla engine, and it's based on the square stationary Earth. And the reason we know Tesla decoded this from the Bible is because his father, Liedtke Tesla, was an Orthodox priest. And the Serbian cross is a representation of flat Earth. It shows you the eight Tauruses and the two in the middle, also, which I've also shown. So Tesla made an engine, and it's based on the FE model, which is the 4 angels, the 4 magnets on the 4 corners, 1 in the middle, maybe 10 vortices. Okay, make this place work, and it works, and it does. And I've showed you. Beautiful. I'm gonna have to, if it's not understood, I'm gonna have to. Basically, I got an option. I can have this stuff made like proper. I can have like the best graphics from some people in Ukraine. I haven't done it, but I would love to be able to make it into a beautiful package to be able to be explained clearly, or more clearly than I ever attempted, in a better package for maximum impact. That's what I would like. That's what I'm trying to do actually at some stage when I'm not so busy. But you know, there's a flat earther you're trying to, or just basically like massive codes. And we've tried, all of us on this channel. Like I'm doing that, but everyone else is up all the time too. It is awake all the time too. A lot of flat earth British people say, "Oh, you know, I do like research all day and sending me the juice. It's just epic." We just go through it all every single day. You know, today I had a spy story, reel come in, and that other stuff about Grand Rapids, all in a day. It's like, and with everything else that I've been doing. Crazy Karen. Oh, I keep up. Do not know.
Yeah, and I bet you'll get more and more, Martin. Won't you?
If I just did 8,000, let me see if I just did 8,000 subs. That would make me happy now. Just, oh, I nearly just spilled my drink all over my. It's alright, don't worry. That's typical fat of British thing to do is tip things, all right. My son's droning. He's got a drone and he's flying it around my flat. So yeah, busy times, Karen, but I likes to keep continuity going, right? And basically,
what's the thing that the most then? You know, the thing that's amazed you to the thing that shocked you. Like, what's the worst thing that you found out then, Martin? Like the bit that's annoyed you the most, that because it would have changed everything a long time ago, all of it. Or which bit got you?
Well, early on in FE, my greatest anger, I think, was nukes, because when I was young, and even a couple of years before FE, I was like really obsessed with nukes, like Bug Out Kate. Well, there's a 2 mile tunnel underground next to my housing estate. Me and my son, we planned to, like, how are we going to get everyone out? Would we survive a H bomb attack to Cardiff with a main target? I was thinking these things as a reality, okay? As a reality. So it determined my lifestyles, my life choices, in fact, because I'm like, anyway, so I was making like the wrong choices because of a nihilistic attitude, because of the bullshit they told us about nuclear bombs. And, you know, went through all of them scares in the 80s where they're saying, look, you'll be burned to death in the morning. So you're thinking, oh, what the hell? I'm just going to go for it then. And turn into like the worst sort of party animal because of them and their programming. So when I like realized that was rubbish, okay, and then I looked into the implosion technique, and then the penny dropped that they were just, you know, being like nuts, you know, pulling things out of another dimension to blow us up. Look, an explosion. Okay, what's the opposite of an explosion? It's an implosion. It's in reverse of an explosion. The devil's work. Everything reverse. Don't take a genius to work, you know. And when you look into the initiates, as in like Robert Oppenheimer, who's a Jesuit player, and Edward Teller, who ousted the Oppenheimer brothers. When you look into it all in it, which I did, I thought, oh, there's just no way in a million years. They didn't even stabilize. They didn't even get critical mass. What a joke, yeah? But then with now, with Fauci's knowledge, they have got weapons. They have got weapons that can cause mass destruction. They've used them in California. They've used them in 9/11. They've evaporated the center of the buildings, not touching anything else around them. Okay? things turn to dust. It's deaggregate matter. So they're phase technology, microwave technology. Now we're going to get 5G. Now this stuff, they're using it, crowd control. God knows what frequencies they're emitting to us while we're sat here right now. You know, there's certain frequencies that can make you nuts. There's certain frequencies that make you cry. Certain frequencies that do all sorts, make you poo yourself. They can do anything. Vibrational frequency. Now, they let loose with that technology that exists. They must know about wave cancellation, which they do. So they are levitating. They got free energy. So fracking, well, that's a lie, because they don't need free energy if they got it, which they have. It's all about free energy. Don't want us to have it. So what's fracking? We're pouring a liquid, a non-specific liquid under the surface of Earth. Well, like an electrolyte to help a plasma discharge effect, like like an electrolyte type of thing. I mean, it seems to fit because it's not for energy, and they got it all, and they just drip feed the public. And I think like nothing new under the sun. I think the technology has been repeated, like you said earlier, Karen, with the railways. These old civilizations, I think they had maglev. I think a lot of from what we've learned, the old aqueducts, the Finca Roman, that are ripping across Tuscany down into Rome, but to bring water, hundreds of miles above ground, not safe out of the way of germs and under the ground, out of the way of sun's evaporation and wars, etc., and floods. No, underground, above ground, with thousands and thousands and thousands of tons of stone built to do this, mind. That makes sense to carry water. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. So I think that the original aqueducts, viaducts of the Romans and antiquity were maglev technology. Also think there's something sinister going on with stadiums as well with these people, with us, when they get us in there.
Did you get that email from me the other day when I just sent you that picture of that building?
Yeah.
It's like, that was supposed to be 1900. And yet you could have said it was a building of today.
Yeah, we have to be sort of careful. There's some you can find. I explain now. There's a series of Mudford hate channels set up, like they do hate flat earthers, believe it or not. Okay, and this one guy brought. I knew as soon as he showed it, I thought, no, that's too late. He said it was 1907. I thought, well, no, that's too late. You can see things built in 1907. You can. Got loads of pictures of things being built then. Okay. But they do sort of try to slip a few through at that time frame, okay? So the guy just goes to a library, he comes over with a picture of it built, okay? Probably for him, so he's sort of trying to debunk Gus. But I knew that was just way too late. Try and do the same thing, only pull back 50 years. So you can see if you can find the same. These things in situ, they are there. Fifth Avenue in New York, okay? The Vanderbilt mansion and all the rest of it. Them mansions, okay? They all got alternative power sources, alternative energy fireplaces, the best architecture you can imagine, or mud-flood buildings. So they're really, really old, all world, and that style is repeated everywhere. But they've been trying to get rid of it for the last 100 years. It's done a good job. There were 2 wars in Europe, got rid of a hell of a lot of that, a hell of a lot. World War One, there's no specific reason why for 2 world wars they would draw the Western Front line, that specific place where they did, meaning from Newport on the North Sea to the Swiss border, right the way through Mons, Amiens, and all of these really ancient Gothic cities with all of them pearls, and they just basically blew them to smithereens, all of that antiquity. Both sides, the zone of wars in the First World War, both sides, just all antiquity gone. I got enough photos to prove what they do. God knows what weapons they've been using. They're lying about a lot of that. Definitely alternative technology that they don't talk about too much because they don't want people thinking. Buy your nukes. Hide under the table.
In the chat room, Martin, to put up a couple of your drawings and things and talk about them.
Sorry, love?
In the chat room, they want to see you talking about some of your, your pictures, drawings. They want you to share something.
All right, I'll do a few. I did have a live event just now for like an hour or so, and it was like, I'm hanging now. I'm gonna have to eat soon. All right, I'll try. Let me have a look. I mean, let's see if my channel see if I can celebrate a moment. Let me see. Two.
Sorry.
I need 2 subs.
Sorry,
I
Martin.
need 2 subs. I need 2 subs. Two subs. 2 people sub me. Go on, I'll try and show you something. Do you want to just stop?
Oh yeah, I'll just put it on me for a second. Thank you. You're such an angel. Because a lot of people do it before I've had even chance. I go, there's the link. They showed the link.
I see a few people still doing that, mind. Oh. Okay. I got hell of a lot. Why is it not showing up? It's only me showing up.
If you don't come in, on Google, you can't share.
Is that so? Let me bring it up on.
Yeah, Mr.
On my other computer says I haven't got Safari on this. I've only got the one browser on this one. Fortunately, believe it or not, when Adam sent me back a while ago, but it's a sweet machine. It's a nice picture and that, but there's only got the one browser. Let me have a look at it. Can't be.
I didn't really, because another browser comes up and I'm just used to pressing it. And I went back on Google and did it, and I could screen share, but I can't screen share unless I'm doing it through Google, Gmail, Google Chrome.
Serious. Why are all showing up? Is it going to go really watch page at the moment?
If you can't do it, don't worry, Martin. The talk is brilliant.
Yeah, we always show pictures anyway. Don't worry, because just go to my channel. I just got an hour of pictures. There's almost like 400 or 500 I just showed them.
Okay, I'll take it off me now. Don't worry, Martin. I'm taking it off me. The thing.
In a day or so, I'm gonna just call half time on my series and.
Just asking you, how old do you think Buckingham Palace is then?
That's a pretty good one, that is. That's a really, really good question. Ooh.
I never saw it like I do now.
I don't know. I'm gonna something I have to research. Maybe that's a very good question. I've got like books on the history of London by a guy called Dan Aykroyd. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's from London, and a series of history of London books online as well. I got. And they state it was built around the same time as Christopher Wren's development in the 1700s, with all of central London's Bavarian district and all of that at the same time. It's not as old as say Louis XVI's Versailles. That's 1600. I'll have to look into that, Karen. It's not spoiling mud flood from outside, is it really?
It's just such an amazing building, isn't it? That seems to have always been there.
Yeah, if you ask like an American tourist or a tourist in London, and you point towards Tower Bridge, and you'll say, how old do you think that building is there, that bridge? They'll think, oh my God, that's like, how old can that be? Hundreds and hundreds of years old? Like, no, like 1880s. It's like, it's Victorian, late Victorian. People think Tower Bridge, with the bastions.
Yeah.
They think that's been there all along because the Gothic style. So it's like really old looking, but it's not. So yeah, things are made to also go in with the older architecture. There's not a lot left in London, fortunately. Enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I see it's so different. Nothing you just say, oh, it's old. When you're younger, you sort of you didn't mind it. It's just in the category of old. But now you realise how important all this is.
I always had like a creepy feeling when I went to a church. I was like, and I thought, like, is there something wrong with me? Am I evil? Is it me? Am I like the omen? Why can't I get like a buzz on in a church? And why am I like, I can't wait to get out of here and away from these people? Sort of buzz. And then we discovered technosmia thing, which is basically fact that churches, antiquity, were not churches. They were devices. They were devices. They were some of them were like power stations, but what they were using was acoustic resonance gathered from either underground or ether as well into these buildings, and it's reflected off the buildings really, really cannily using an echo detector. And they send it out to the ether through speakers. speakers, giant speakers, building size speakers into the environment, giving like you know, like a 432 gigahertz frequency. So they use it for like betterment. We don't really know precisely the benefits, but it does show that it can make plants and fruits and food grow huge. People seem to fare really well, be really healthy in this experience, but it seems to be dismantled then. 1800s, all of the old churches then, by then, the early 1800s photos, they're all bricked up. You know, the sort of cymatic windows and a lot of the windows are all just bricked up. So that this device, this Technasmia device, doesn't do it anymore. Doesn't do this invention. And it's like all different permeations to it that our Technasmia works. There's magnetism falls right into it as well. Static gathering using electrostats, which is kites, balloons. I believe the age of flight to be a lot earlier, but I don't think they needed like planes per se. I think they definitely knew about wave cancellation and how to get things in the air relatively easy using magnetics, okay, using levitation, cancellation. That's what they were doing in antiquity. They're just holding us back. They keep us down. It keeps us in this certain state where, you know, most people are bad wired anyway. They got to have a bad experience here, or they're not happy. It's a really strange experience for some people here from what's going on, but it is the conditioning. So be sweet, Karen, if this like, you know, can make a difference. All the effort you make and all the guys make, you know, for the rest of the people, because, you know, like you said yesterday, was not everyone in the street is talking about it. Like, you know, still not everyone's heard about flat Earth. I think most have.
Oh, Martin, you're part of our family.
I am. I mean, I'm an essential part of the flat Earth experience. I'd be a more essential part if I get too
And
much.
I've met you a few times. Martin is a really lovely person. I'd only just met him and he was calling me Ka. Can't Ka, whatever it was. It felt like I'd always known you.
I'm a Brit. That's why I'm just normal British blokey. Just open my mouth on YouTube. What a right YouTube is, look at it. And look at all of the stuff that's happened. I was trying to reflect. I bet that would make an excellent vlog if I covered my last 3 years. All what has happened has been all of the meets and the conventions and all of the different events and the traumatic stuff. It's been so much, I can't even tell you. You know what an effie week's like, you know? It's just like so much can happen. It's crazy. Isn't it, look? Time's different.
But I think it's amazing that you've got into this stuff because, you know, none of us really thought about it, did we? Maybe some of us would have researched some of it, but
no, I'm thinking in ways that I never expected.
The information that you've got is just, it's amazing. It just boggles my mind every time because every time
you're just guided, like it's like you know, with these things, you know, like with the information that flows in, like I can like say something in one vlog, and then the next, you know, that evening I'll have maybe 2 vlogs, and 2 people will send me the vlog think and saying exactly the same thing, and it'd be the next step, and I'd be like, wow, I was thinking that myself. That's nuts. So people are just thinking same thoughts, like precisely at the same time. So there's this crazy synchronicity going with this dot connected that called reality. And the more you like delve in, deeper down the rabbit hole, for sure, the more it shows. It's still, you know, tip of the iceberg for sure, but some things are showing, and they definitely know where we live. I know that, and history. Don't even bother. I don't even know what we're looking at anymore, Karen, or where they came from. Everything is presented. Everything. The maps.
There's still quite a lot there because where's the stuff, how they made it all and everything? You know, like there's still a big thing, isn't there?
Look into printing, that's crazy too, you know, with the Caxton Press and all that's just rubbish. They printed way before. So the official narrative of everything is led by Britain, isn't it? You know, if they like, you look at the list of inventions on the Guinness Book of Records, it's like Britain, it's like #1. And Scotland has got more than anyone. You know, they got Alexander Graham Bell, you know, was he cited for the invention of the telephone in what, 1909? Yeah. No, he wasn't, was he? Because it was around a long time before then. So it's just, they keep citing their members. So if there's an overwhelming note of events from Scotland, it's because of their free Masonic connections. because Scotland got it right, etc. So it's all about, like, you know, they're never going to like pass anybody with a perpetual motion machine in the patents office. It's just not going to happen. Okay,
can I ask you something then, Martin? Because obviously, maybe people not in the UK, people in the UK know that we had this book called the Doomsday Book. So what does that really mean then? What was that really about?
Census. Just a census, it's nothing more. But it's a census of the Middle Ages, I believe, to be inaccurate and not a fact, actually, Karen. I really don't. Look, all we got in our reality is these constitutions. The French got theirs, the Americans got their constitution and their Bill of Rights. The British, we have the Magna Carta. So they say that way off in antiquity, somebody wrote this and dictated our laws of how we should be. Now, the Magna Carta it's not set for free men. None of it is set for free men. It's set for a class system, set for them over us, all of it. Okay, it is. It's just nuts. So these Bill of Rights and these things that get introduced, I believe they are introduced following a reset as a new control mechanism. Control. You know, how do we know the last reset that everyone knew? Yeah, it's flat. And we just don't. So it could be this extreme globe programming has only got like a 200 or 300 year history we could trace. You know, I've got Jesuit books, early or late 1600s, which are on the balance. You know, the Copernican models that are being discussed is on the balance even then. So go earlier back. It's just like I said, Karen. Each 100 years you go back, it's fuzzier, fuzzier, fuzzier. And for them too, academia. The further they go back, they get very, very excited if they find everything. Where's everything buried? In the mud. It's not from 2,000 years of worm poo, okay, and silt and dispossession. Nobody on earth can regulate or measure that, because nobody can hang around to 2,000 years to measure that, to see if it actually happens. So they're definitely making that up, aren't they? So it's just everything's covered in mud from events. Okay, now we're all on Earth, and a lot of Britain is on mud, as we know. So there's a cymatic experiment you can see where a specific frequency is passed through matter. It's order out of chaos. Everything will lose its stillness on the equilibrium of the plane. Okay, it becomes chaotic, meaning will dust evaporate. This sort of stuff is out there. It's been in antiquity. Okay, the Ark of the Covenant I showed tonight on the block. Definite battery, and on top it's got two angels, which wings open, which two magnets, two live electromagnetic magnets. They're probably arc in between. You could carry it around. And the depiction I showed is Middle Ages. It's got a Faraday cage being put up in the background, which I found really, really sweet, showing that they can
There's a question for you in the chat room. Caroline Goodman.
Yeah, hi, Caroline.
Could you ask him to explain Mount Meru a bit more? He said there is an artificial pyramid there, meaning, and how this relates to Martin Kenny's Mount Meru ideas. Does it relate?
No, I was looking at a few Martin's images. He's almost there with a few of his images. If you just see the double Torah system, the penny drop. And look, we just showed and explained standing on the basic, simple, stable 8 of the cell. And working our way up through sacred geometry, we showed you through nesting how this place has to work. Okay, and the pyramid can be nested, meaning you have pyramids fitted inside. Okay, the Mayans were doing it. Show a thermal image on a video that was taken of the Mayan pyramid. So the nesting smaller and smaller. So they're doing wave acceleration. They're gathering energy to be stored, used later, or used immediately. Okay, this is what the pyramids, all of them, doing, and more. Now, it has to be, okay, a magnet. This whole place is an electromagnetic universe, okay? And the only way this place works is how I explained it. Oh, bear with me. So if you imagine this magnet is sticking up through the ground, okay? You know a magnet has a north and a south, okay? Imagine the plane of equilibrium, what we're living on, it's there, okay? Now, the South Pole, okay, they say is the other side of Australia, behind some ice wall, we can't verify, okay, which is nuts, because from the north to the South Pole, 15,000 kilometers of travel for an electromagnetic field. Okay, how about the double-sided pyramid, which is all over antiquity? I've just shown you, or I've shown on my channel. Okay, we're going to go into on my channel. I'll show you through Babylonian cosmology how this fits in. Okay, it's double-sided pyramid. The pyramid below, okay, is the South Pole. Comes through back at, as I showed on my model on my map. Okay, north pole. Now I know why you asked me, Caroline. You asked me about why I surmised 12 kilometers. Well, this is why. In my mind, I think you can only go, I could be wrong, 12 kilometers up and 12 kilometers down. That's what the evidence shows. Okay, the top of the electromagnetic roof, if you like, which I would freely admit in the academia, is the Van Allen belt. We can't go through it, okay, into deep space. So that is the
Martin, I just asked, did you say 12 kilometers up?
8 miles up, 8 miles down. That's all I can do.
Whoa.
The Cobra mine, look into the Cola Deep, the Ultra Deep, right? I got a documentary I seen the other day, blew my mind. Just clean off the table, right? This thing was nuts, right? So they start drilling, right? First thing they do is water, lakes, huge lakes, all the way down, right? For the first maybe 10 miles, right? So it takes them like literally a generation, decades, to the early 80s to get to the 18-kilometer mark. They can't go any further. No machinery at work. Everything is electromagnetic. Everything is acting out. The heat is terrible. The conditions are impossible. But they say some of the reason. Don't know what. I haven't got to that yet. So they stop. It takes them another, say, 5-6 years to go maybe another couple of 100 feet. That is it. We have not. They're trying to say there's an iron core inside of a ball causing electromagnetism. They're modeled rubbish. It's probably just presented. It doesn't work, okay? It doesn't work. Okay, now cancelling out is a beautiful thing, actually, once you find out about that, and everything else sort of sits into place beautifully. Okay, it's a beautiful thing, Karen. I wish I could elaborate further, but yeah, that's how I think. It's the only 12 I've talked about. There's actually a lot of statements in religious texts. I think the Bible. I can't really quote it, Caroline. I don't really know the Bible at all well. But it states in there somewhere in code, so I've been told. They say only 12 kilometers, 8 miles up, 8 miles down. It's like going mile. So I'm surmising that that is how big. Now I said maybe 2 months ago, I had a dream, right, that I seen a possibly big pyramid. 2 days later, a sub of mine, lady sends me pictures of things called Newton's cenotaphs, which are pictures from the 1700s connected to Newton of possibly big pyramids. Now, connecting dots, knowing how pyramids work, the emitters, they can give off a frequency or story through nesting smaller pyramids in size. Okay, now that blew my mind. That blew my mind to find that out as well. So yeah, there's just so much of it. I think that's how this place works. Now, is that all it is? I do not know. Okay, but I'm saying that at the moment, in my mind, the model that is being presented works. I can't even find the chink in it. But can I verify it? Yeah, through antiquity. So in the code, I can show 20,000 pictures. I'll have to collect them. And I'll show 1,000. I've shown near 1,000 images on 5 videos. Prove my point of what this place is.
Can I say something as well? I put out like a little video earlier on today about the fact that everything does seem to be quite rainbow-like. You know, we've got rainbows in the sky. The water sometimes make rainbow colours, and you've got the land. And they were I was looking at these mountains in, is it Peru, wherever they are, and they are covered in all these different layers of. And they're different colours. It's rainbow-like. Sorry, my computer. Then I forgot.
I saved them. They're epic, isn't they? They're beautiful.
But we have the same for a start. We have the Isle of Wight. We have the same rainbow land. What I'm trying to say is, all the oh dearie me, my phone's going. Sorry.
No, I know what
Do you
you're saying.
understand?
But all the Isle of Wight's like chalk now, calcites, like strata, that beautiful strata, is still on the Cornwall coast and down by there though.
We're walking on that. It's got grass and stuff on. You can see on the top. So what I'm saying is, what difference is all that going to make with all these different layers and patterns that we can't see because they're under the grass? But there's all different colours of soils and land and
It's incredible, isn't it?
all this magnetism and stuff. You know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean.
Drives everything, drives the whole system. There's no doubt about it. You don't covers all the aspects of this place and what's happened. Like we know this place is reset. That didn't take too much of a jump to the imagination to see the civilization built on top of civilization on top of civilization. The evidence is there. You just look on Google Earth; it's everywhere. So how long these places exist? You know, we just look back through the records. We see it gets muddy 300 years ago, and 300 there seems to be germs, calendar ships, etc. So we can place together then. Oh, for sure. You know, these places, how they do it, extra things. There's a lot of people now, they say, but I don't think there's 7.5 billion, Karen. I think they lie about the population. There's no way they can actually do a census. That's nuts. They don't know, what a nomadic man and his family population in our own census, or out in India somewhere, or the outback. But they can't do that. That's just nuts. Nobody knows the world population, but it's lower. It is lower, a lot lower. They like to panic people into thinking we're running out of everything, resources. Like you probably know, I don't think that fuel is even inexhaustible. I think this is a replenishing type of mineral, type of water, replenishing embryonic fluid that they know what it is. They just tell you there's a shortage, like we did with the diamonds when it comes up like skipload daily. They tell you, oh no, they're ultra rare, man. They're worth all of this. They're not ultra rare. They just vault them all. Tell you they're rare to keep the value. Everything's just such a scam. Awful place. Oh, this camera soft on. You did a rant then, Karen. That would have been your fault. How's all the people in chat? Yeah, but that 12 kilometers, I'm just guessing there, Caroline. There's no proof that we've been, like, in my mind, up further. And, like, with the man at Valhalla down and what we, with the Coles deep mine, from our apparent evidence, there's videos enough coal deep chat definitely happened. That's it. So that be dimensions down, possibly. What's below that? Who knows? Maybe the inside of another place. Who knows?
8 kilometers. So the planes aren't flying at 7 miles up, then 36,000 feet, then are they? And enslaved by no media.
My camera bruised right in, man. I must be bionic. I got bionic eyes. Steve Austin being a 7 mile dotting line with the numbers on the side of my camera. Nuts. They're not doing that. They're not flying anything like they say. How would we know?
He's saying that he doesn't think they're flying that high anyway. It's just because they've told us that, isn't it?
Yeah, they tell everything is just handed to us and we just take it. How many of us can actually go and test it? How would you test it? How would you test that? They're not going to speed it, they say, that's for sure. They're crawling along, some of them. They say that they're doing 1 speed, as you've seen. They're doing the speed of a cat.
They're going, what it is, they're going very slowly, aren't they? They are moving maybe, but they're almost levitating.
Yeah, some go like bullets, so Karen, and they're quieter. Now, in my mind, when I was a kid, jets went over, they were really mental loud. They were like, whoa, that's so loud. Not just military, like commercial jets. But you don't seem to hear that anymore. They're really quiet. And the quicker ones don't seem to make any noise at all. And that's not just because of
the new Airbuses, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. And they seem to be like, I was working next to Cardiff Airport, and they got the place where they refurbish basically Virgin Galactic's jumbo jets. So I was watching them coming out of this giant hangar, an unimaginably big hangar, it was crazy big. So they're driving out the jumbo, and I was like sitting on a cottage roof basically on summer's afternoon, watching them take off, and I thought, how is that even possible? It's going like so slow, and there's this massive weight of metal. It's an off the ground gently. I think, is there enough pull? I was like, crazy to watch. Honest, they do not look like they're going that quick. They just don't take off. Get that much lift. Probably got like a little bit of paint off of scattered beetles.
So how far do you think that they can actually fly up there then, when they're saying that they're going much higher at 60,000 feet?
One of the highest like planes that they come out with is like the V2 spy plane for the 80s, and that's supposed to go on 74,000. Okay, that is like now they got things they say like the telescope thing that they've got. Things can go a bit higher, but not too much. So what can things roof at max? 80,000 feet. What can airplanes max out at? Well, usual, I suppose, 38 to 50,000 feet max. You know, the planes like usually go 60,000 feet, 70,000. No, do they have us like? Because electromagnetic disturbance up there. It's chaotic. And as a further out you get into this electromagnetic disturbance out towards the upper, shell of the torus, they can't pass through it. This is why you always see the rockets coming down so quick. They don't go up that high, do they? You think the fake space a bit, they go up a bit further before they come and plummet back down to the sea. People watching and all, but they don't. They come down nearly instantly. So I think they can't go up that high to get any height. They can't get up to take a photograph of Earth, that's for sure.
If anybody watches or looks at the time lapses of rockets, I just don't see how anybody could be in any doubt that they go up and then they come down.
I used to think like 11 miles to like what I used to think was space. Okay, because I don't buy space. I don't think it at all. I don't think it's possible. But the vacuum. Look, what did they pick? The harshest environment imaginable is a vacuum, and space vacuum is different to like vacuum. Yeah, and that's horrible. So they think of the worst possible environment where we can never go. Say that's where it is. It's not there. We only a slot can go. And obviously the pressure system that we're breathing right next to a vacuum, no separated barrier. Just like that's just a crazy thought. Anyway, I can't even deal with that. And too much.
People don't think, do they? Because every year everybody's replacing their phone to get a better phone, to get a better this. That thing's been up there for years.
It's just crazy. I don't know anymore. It's just like the undersea cables. It's like everything is undersea. They told us this. Why people even believe in the satellites? When they told us, they show us. You can Google it. Google the images of the underground sea cables. They're everywhere. They started them in the middle of Victorian era. That's what they used the ship for. Aye, all right, son. All right. Yeah, my son wants to use my computer in a minute. I'm gonna have to dive off because he uses this is his. Well, it's not. It's not. But he uses it. Well, I'll have to go back in it.
So your next bit is this other thing you were talking about.
Yeah, again, love.
What are you going to do next, Martin? What's your next bit?
Well, I've got the next book, part 3 of The Greatest Story Never Told, which it is, by the way. But I'm going to just take a half-time break, okay, after what I just done, because it's really tiring, absolutely shattered. And I got like a mountain of my own stuff to bring out. It's just with the unveiling now, we have to look at everything afresh, you see, Karen. I'm going through all my alchemical stuff and everything again, and now it's all making like a lot more sense. Books on magnetism from the 1700s I'm going through. I found a Tesla engine in one. But my God, is this a perpetual motion machine in the 1700s? Yeah. So things like that, mind blowing, paradigm changing stuff. That's what.
You know what, though? It's been in front of our faces, and if only we went to look. Patricia found out with the Wright brothers with flying.
Yeah.
The first when they were flying, they used petrol or fuel to take off, and then they turned it to electric, and then they went back to fuel to land.
Yeah, definitely. Something like that going on. I think that was a psyop anyway, because anything is like what I think is if it's running with the narrative of our history. As in, if you open it's like a Time magazine and they go on about like JFK, Wright brothers, Man on the Moon, all of these paradigms. I think they're all bullshit. No, I think flight was there a lot longer before I've been digging into it. The Montgolfier brothers with their ballooning and the gas ballooning in the 1700s. Well, previous to that, they had airships in China in the 1600s. I got pictures of. They'd take like thousands of men up in the air with whole batteries, which take over cities from the air. It's just like basically battleships in the air. I've got that now. So like stuff like that I'd be looking into. Evidence is overwhelming, it's all rubbish. So I'm not saying they had commercial jets. I'm saying in the past, in a different set, they didn't need commercial jets. That's what I'm saying.
Paul, we're so back engineered, aren't we?
Clever. It was clever when they tell everyone we're going forward, and they introduce these things and say, "Oh, you know, bragging how clever we are getting." You know, but we're not. We're not. You can see that by the architecture of the old world. The thought that's gone into it is just, you know, with the geometry and all of that. These people know about this place, and they hide all that from every common person. It's disgusting, and this knowledge should be available to everyone. You know, it's a difference to everything. Proof of the creator, you see. My mind. Absolute truth, because this place is like from the DNA code up from the atom up to this place we live in. It's all
This place is out of this world.
Yeah, it's intelligently designed. You know, you can see that with Fibonacci anyway. You know, Karen, it's just these. You just see that this has an intelligent design. These things cannot happen in practice. I can't see how. But it is
No,
a possible reality. Crazy stuff.
I agree with you. But Martin, thank you so much for coming on, Simon, because I know
Thank you for inviting me,
today.
Karen. Thank you. Thank
It's
you all.
always a pleasure.
Make sure the thumbs up for Karen.
Oh, and to Martin,
Yeah.
sub to his channel, and
Two more. Get me 2 more subs.
and well, thank you so much. Thank you everybody in the chat room. Mwah. Trisha. Mwah.
I need to tell you all
Thank
that.
you. You're back on Monday.
Ooh. Got a nice little crowd in there. How you guys?
Who have you got there, Martin?
Love you, Martin. Big hugs.
Big ups. Love. How you doing? Go so quiet. Just listening to you. God, I can talk. I'll give you anything.
Anyway, thank you, Patricia, for coming in at the end there. But anyway, mwah to everybody.
Peace and love, people. Be good.
Thank you, Martin.